Hey everybody, this is Gaynor Meilke from Accounting Ignited and Charisma Inc. And John Higgins, James LoPiccolo, and I are doing Accounting Ignited workshops this summer. And I wanted to take a moment to give you a preview. Our first one is in Minnesota, and we'll be booking more dates online and in person this year too. But so you have a bit of an idea what the Accounting Ignited roadmap is. We decided to frame it with 12 questions every firm needs to ask now. And this is something that when you have the right questions, you can certainly get a better idea of the answers that you need to come up with in order to move yourself forward. So, John Higgins, some of you probably know, does a lot of education in the accounting space, and he is bringing the strategic technology and practice transformation to the workshops, and he has decades of experience helping firms implement and evaluate technology, especially AI. John's gone really deep on all of the tools and what you can do with them. And myself, I own Accounting Ignited magazine and the Charisma Inc. company, which serves firms with consulting, strategy, and digital marketing, as well as AI and technological governance as well. And then James LoPiccolo is a CPA. He is a firm owner of Capricorn Professional Advisors, and he has really optimized his firm model over the past few years and is sharing all of his hands-on experience and the practice model and workflow optimization piece. So we bring a lot to every workshop, and the idea of the workshop is for you to leave with a future oriented roadmap that you can follow in order to respond to the things that you see here, which are all environmental factors that are affecting firms and the business landscape. So they're also affecting your clients too. So industry disruption, talent constraints, the demand for advisory, which is growing and more businesses need technology acceleration. And with all of that, client expectations are changing. That's why we took a look at all of those factors when we put together the three pillars of what we call the future ready firm. And that's practice model optimization, technology adoption, and marketing and growth strategies. And we have some polling questions in this presentation that can be helpful as well as we look at the different questions. But think about which of the three pillars are you going to focus on this year of the three that we just talked about. So the practice model optimization is your firm built to scale and survive is the big overarching question. And then something that goes along with that at the core of the firm and any business plan or strategy is, are your service offerings aligned with the clients you want to serve? So what is the ideal client that you're after? What services, packaging and pricing, and advisory readiness? And then question two, do we have the right capacity model to support growth? So what's your team structure? Are you outsourcing and using automation so that you can expand capacity? Do you have seasonal load balancing, which is something that Jamie talks a lot about? And how do you factor in if you're, especially if you're doing taxes or it's year end or you've got different peaks and valleys according to the types of clients that you serve, how are all of those things going to factor into your practice model and what you do to execute in terms of the workflows, which is our next question. Do you have standardized workflows documented and are you following them consistently? So do you have the right standard operating procedures in place? Do you know where your bottlenecks are? And the next step, how are you going to break them down? And do you have quality control so that you can be confident that your clients are getting the best possible service and insights from you? Question 4 on the practice model is the model actually built to support your lifestyle and the scale that you want? So do you know as an owner what role you want to be playing? Do you want to be working in your firm or on your firm or have somebody else run it all together so that you can go and do something else? Are you meeting profitability targets? And what are those if you're going to scale? And then what is your capacity versus your ambition? So if your capacity is only built for a certain size firm, but your vision is that you're going to scale much bigger, you're going to have to consider that. So think about, where do you have lack of standards? Is efficiency a big issue, or is it staff and training compliance? Because once the practice model is stable, technology does become the multiplier. But you can't build a strong technology system on kind of a messy, unclear practice model. So our next section that John Higgins covers in the workshops is technology, and it's, I think, both a strategy and the accelerator. But technology adoption is definitely the accelerator, because we can have a strategy and we can have a plan, but if we fail to adopt it fully, we're not going to go anywhere. So are we using the right tools for automation and efficiency? And John goes over all the core tech stack, redundant tools, and automation gaps as well. Question 6, are our systems integrated to reduce manual work and errors? If you don't have tight integration, it's going to be a problem in terms of data flow. API connections are going to get messy or be non-existent. And then what's the single source of truth? Because that's the other issue, is that if you have systems that don't talk to each other, you're never really going to be able to deliver confidently and confident, accurate data. And it's also going to be a lot harder. Question 7, are we using data to drive decisions, not just reporting? So both for your own firm and then for your clients, do you have the appropriate KPIs, dashboards, and predictive insights at the ready? And is that something that is a repeatable system that you can get the right data from? And then, are we preparing for AI-enabled workflows and advisory? This is so critical now as the world screams AI from every rooftop. You need to be literate in what it is and where you can use it in your firm, plus also all of the risks, because there are risks, and I'll get into those a lot deeper in the workshops. And then with the right model and technology in place, growth becomes intentional, not accidental. I always say you don't want to try to attract clients to a firm that's not clear and not stable, because you're going to end up with kind of a disaster in the making. So from the technology standpoint, we're going to be learning a lot more about the language of AI. And, for some firms, they might be moderately successful, but they might also be, on the leading edge of using AI as well. And, you know, I think that AI is one sort of technology for automation, but there's many others as well. So we want to tease down into the bottom of the big AI bucket and see like what tools we need to use as well. And one area we can definitely do that in is marketing, lead generation, and growth. So growth is definitely a system, not a hope. And we're going to delve into actually creating systems and repeatable methods for attracting ideal clients what the messaging is and how to do it efficiently, how to get lead sources both from existing databases and external to your firm, and then also your website and how things have changed now that we're looking to gain clients both from search engine optimization and then generative engine optimization, which is AI plus a multitude of other channels. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the nurturing of prospects and clients through a structured sales process. Too many firms leave this to chance. We want the pipeline, follow-up systems, and very importantly, proposal automation as well. And then question 11, which is, are we delivering a client experience that drives referrals? There's no point in building a strong pipeline and a strong client base if you're also losing people because they don't get a good experience from the beginning of onboarding them as a client to the communications with your firm. And we're not talking about just emails and marketing messages and communication. We're talking about the operational side of things as well. And then how can you add more value into all of the interactions and what you actually deliver? And all of this comes together where you can actually build visibility, authority, and reputation and guard that from both the competition, but also other risks in your firm, like AI and having diversity in your client base and your thought leadership as well. So we'll also talk about partnerships and a little bit about getting your name as an expert out for your firm, plus the content strategy. So, for a lot of firms, these are some really important questions in terms of growth and whether we're going to shift mostly to advisory services, create additional niches, or be more visible for lead generation, or maybe it's all of them. So we can bring all of this together in the Future Firm roadmap, which has 3 pillars, 12 questions, and a lot of next steps that we will be covering in the Accounting Ignited Future Ready Firm workshops that are coming this summer. And I think there's a ton of opportunity in the accounting profession, and we're going to help you optimize it, seize it, and definitely make the road to your success much faster and easier. That's our first workshop coming in May, and we definitely will have more along the way. So if you need any assistance, you can reach out to John, Jamie, or I, and we will be glad to give you more information about the Future Ready roadmap.